Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. So just finished recording Akane Banashi. We're going to get caught up with the rest of Shonen Jump this weekend. So we're going to get around to Kaiju and Spy Family today. Goku Rakugai new chapter is going to drop tomorrow, so I'll hopefully get around to that when it drops. If not, hopefully look forward to it next weekend potentially. But yeah, really excited for those series to come back. Like I mentioned in a couple of other videos, read-throughs are going to be on hiatus until the end of this month, just because work has been super busy lately and I don't want to burn myself out by stretching myself too thin, and I still have to do some catch-up with Alita and some other series I've been planning to do read-throughs for. So I'm putting it on hiatus because I want to do a good job with it. I don't want to rush it and do a crap job, so I beg your patience while we're waiting for the read-throughs to come back. But like I said, in the meantime, I'm going to be playing catch-up with Shonen Jump. I might, for the next month at least, these videos might be happening bi-weekly, just depending on how stressed I am from work and everything else like that. Especially because right now, Akane is only the real series that I do weekly, because both Kaiju and Spy Family are bi-weekly, and Goku Rakugai is monthly. So at least for the next little while, it might just make more sense for me to make these videos bi-weekly, but we shall see. But yeah, for current plan right now, at least keep up current with Shonen Jump. Read-throughs will be back in a month or so. With that said, as always, if you like my content, please do consider commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Especially now, because it turns out that someone dug into Twitter's code, and it turns out that the site suppresses the hell out of any external links that you post to Twitter, especially if you do not have a massive following. So if you want to keep up to date with my content, if you want to support me, the best way to do that really is pushing the buttons on this channel. It really does help me out a lot, and it will be greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let us dive into it with Kaiju No. 8, Chapter 83 by Naoya Matsumoto. Give me a second, translation by David Evelyn, and lettering by Brandon Bovia, which I don't see on here. I don't know if that's going to be because it's at the end somewhere. Kind of weird. Alright. But I do really like this pissed off Kafka and his kaiju form on the cover. So we start with a little flashback with Kokoro saying, "No matter what happens, don't come help me." And you have 5 days prior, and Kafka's like, "Huh?" It's like, well, that's random. The heck's that mean? And you see Kokoro just all blushing. He's like, "It means what it means. I'm telling you not to come help me during our next battle, even if I'm in trouble. Of course, I'm grateful you've come to my aid in the past. However, I'm through with being rescued. No matter how powerful the enemy I may face, I will take them down on my own. I need you to believe in me." So it was 2 chapters ago, I called this as saying, I hope this is the way it was going. So I'm glad we got the confirmation that it was. I don't know if we necessarily needed Kokoro to spell it out for us, but I do like this little bonding moment of her telling her, if I can't face him, I'm of no use, so you might have to let me face him on my own. And she kind of finishes with, "Focus on the enemy in front of you and wipe the floor with them." And you see, is it Nomine? God, let me look up the name quickly. Shinonome. Shinonome telling him, "Don't, Hibino. We can't afford to lose you here. Fall back." And he's like, "I appreciate the concern, but don't worry. I won't be losing." It's like, this guy. Yes. And as he sees, I can't remember which number it is, but as he sees Joggy Bro getting together, you see the veins just popping out in Kafka's face as he starts transforming. He's like, "It's all mine." Yes. And you see Rattle's just blown back by the force coming off from him, the explosive force coming off him after the transformation after he's powering up. And you see all the kaiju just momentarily from their battle just have a moment where they felt this. Oh, so excited. You have a Daikaiju detector in the Oizumi area. It's this reading. It's Kaiju No. 8. And you see, I'm looking up Baldy Bro's name because I'm tired of not knowing. Keiji, that's what it is. And you have one of the others go, "Did we give him permission to deploy?" It's like, "No, sir." And Keiji's like, Kafka Hibino. The original plan was to have him preserve his strength until the battle with number 9. But I guess we have no choice but to use him now given the current situation. You see him just kind of clasping his hands together. Shump, shump. As Kafka's like, I can feel them. The huge kaiju powers at each location. The one at Chofu is Vice Captain Hoshina. This one is Captain Narumi. He's like, and you see just like still shell-shocked Kikoru sitting there. And you see Kafka with his earpiece going, Kikoru, I'm not coming. I believe in you. Oh, God. Alright. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the end. You see like a little perk up there as he says that. We'll talk about the end. He's like, as for me, and you see the one that he's fighting just like starts grinning as it goes back with a shoom, or it leaps backwards. Then it starts just jogging in place with shim to shim to shim. Oh, what the hell? God. And you see as it's jogging its place, it's like pumping up more power into its leg muscles. It's just like expanding into like ginormous force. And you have a boom, boom. Oh, God. And you see he's taking like this little starting sprinting pose. And you have fortitude level rising. 9.2. It's like, this is bad. And Shinomi's like, run, Hibino, you have to. And you see the next page is just coming straight towards him with a punch. Yes. Oh, shit. God damn, you see him just effortlessly stop it with one hand. And he goes, as for me, I'll focus on my enemy and mop the floor with him. And you see him just fast closing his fist, just giant explosive punch right to its chest. And you see its teeth just shattering and flying out with the force of the blow as he sends it flying through the overhead like road above him, just sends it flying, and you see his guts just exploding everywhere. And you see all the kaiju again like twitching as they sense I guess like the distress call from the one he just knocked out. Even number 14 just looking at Dark. I'm just gonna call it Dark Kikoru. I feel like Dark Kikoru works better. So God Kikoru is just like, chip. So number 8 is on another level after all. We're supposed to join forces to eliminate him. I need to hurry and finish her off so I can. And as she looks over at Kikoru, you see that Kikoru's got like a look of determination on her face. She's no longer trapped in her little psychological nightmare, looks like. Alright, so, man, I have kind of mixed feelings on this chapter. So I guess we'll start with the stuff I like, and then we'll start off with the stuff I'm like mildly concerned about. So stuff I liked the speech with the little speech interaction between Kafka and Kikoru at the beginning. Again, I don't know if we needed it spelled out, but I do like it as a little bonding moment where, Kikoru's kind of telling Kafka, like, rely on me. If I'm not able to beat these monsters on my own, what good will I be what good will I be in the battle ahead? I have to kind of trust me to surpass my limits and everything. So like with regards to that, we're kind of like having a culmination of a few like the different moments from like previous arcs where Kafka's kind of been like, I don't want to lose anyone again. I'm trying to shoulder this responsibility and this burden all on myself. So I appreciate this as an offshoot of Kikoru kind of basically telling him like, trust in others, believe in us to be able to help you out as well. Like, we're not as weak as you think we are. So I do appreciate this moment with regards to that. Apart from that, again, I love the trope of like, main character gets super pissed off when his comrades are hurt, like it amps up his power and he gets like more destructive. I'm a sucker for it, and it is very effectively used with Kafka here, who's like, I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines. I can't do it anymore. And we see him just annihilate sprinting kaiju here, so I really, really liked that part of it. Again, I'm hoping that this was not the end of sprinting kaiju. Like, I hope this wasn't like, it's completely going to be decimated by like Kafka effortlessly. But that kind of leads into like the segue for the second part of this conversation. But I really do appreciate that moment. I do like the new, like, I'm going to dub it the Kafka sense, where, he's like able to sense different kaiju energies and things as well. So I appreciate that. I believe that's going to be like an offshoot of his training, but I appreciate we're seeing like the small little like bits of growth that he's having and going through. I also love that when he's talking to Kokoro, like you see like bits of his mask flaking off as you see his human eye where he's doing the conversation, and it goes back into full kaiju when he's getting ready to fight again. So I like those parts of it. Yeah, apart from that, the stuff in this chapter where I'm kind of like cautious regards to. So even though we got the speech at the beginning where, Kikoro was like, don't come help me no matter what. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I think 2 or 3 chapters ago, I kind of mentioned or said that I hope that, Kafka giving words of encouragement to Kikoro, being like, you got this, like, oh, I believe in you, blah, blah. I hope that isn't going to like completely, just like give her like giving her a little pep talk isn't going to be like, oh, Kikoro was like, oh yeah, I'm back, baby. Like, I'm going to completely annihilate number 14's ass now. And the fact that we are semi-heading towards that this chapter with Kikoro, like, Kafka telling her, I trust you, you got this, having like perked her, like snapped her out of the little reverie she was in. I'm not a huge super fan of that because, again, I kind of want the Defense Force to be not annihilated, but I want them to not be able to ease out a victory from this. I want them to kind of have a losing moment from this. So if this chapter is the beginning of the reverse, where it's like, oh, from after this point on, like, all of them will be able to drive back the kaiju that they're facing. They're going to like unlock their new superpowers, be able to drive them back, like, and eke out a victory. I think that's not going to sit well with me. So I'm kind of like hesitant if we're going to head towards that direction. But we'll see what happens. So with regards to that, I hope that's not what's going to happen. We'll see if it does or not. Yeah, I'm cautious with regards to that because, again, I know it sounds kind of mean. Look, I want Kikoro to suffer some longer lasting effects from her fight with Goth Kikoro. Like, if she just managed to like completely overcome like the whole psychological thing this evilly, I feel like it kind of undermines the effectiveness of it in the previous chapters. So I hope even if she does manage to like, stall number 14 or fight her to a draw, there's still going to be some longer term repercussions from this. But we'll see. I'll maybe talk about that in the next chapter. Maybe do like a mini video on it. Because I realized I didn't mention this in the previous video, but I kind of want to see some people drop out of the Defense Force after this to have like their morale broken and be like, I kind of realized I don't want to die, and I can't compete with these level of monsters anymore. So I'm going to have to quit, even if it makes me look like a coward or whatnot. I kind of want to see a little bit of that happen once these battles wrap up, but yeah, like I said, we'll see. I will say the most intriguing thing is Goth Kikoro basically confirming, again, another theory question I was tossing out there, which is like, were these kaiju supposed to like join together to eliminate Kafka, or was number 9 going to be trying to do it himself? So the fact that Goth Kikoro kind of confirms like, oh, like the plan was to take all these people, take all the other Defense Force people out, and then go after Kafka all together. Is definitely the most intriguing. Again, especially with her being like, oh, he is on another level after all. Again, the whole deal with whatever's happened with Kafka, like whatever fusion hybrid thing happened with him, I want to know more about that, like why number 9 wants it so badly. So I really want to see more of an exploration of that. But yeah, apart from that, solid chapter. Loved all the Kafka fighting moments. But depending on how the rest of this battle plays out, is really going to kind of affect what my feelings on it overall are. But I'm going to say I'll be cautiously optimistic, so we'll see what happens. With that all said, like I mentioned, we're playing catch up with Shonen Jump this weekend. So both the Connie chapters should be out by now. Expect Spy Family to drop sometime today as well. Like I mentioned, Goku Rakugai will be out sometime in the next week. As always, if you like my content, please do consider commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.